up, everybody? We are back. We are the Brevity Boys, the Brevity Dads, Brevity, whatever you want to call us. As you know, there's nothing brevity about being a dad. Having said that, we try to condense our lives into an hour-long podcast for you weekly. We are here. Big Z, what's up, man? How you doing?
What's up, guys? I'm good, man. I'm going through it today. Today is the day that Old Man Z has just. There you go.
You can hear it. You can hear it. He's falling apart, people. He's falling apart.
So, for those of you that are new to the podcast, Old Man Z is like this. This. What do they call it? A persona? No. I don't know. This second identity I have. I don't know. And because I'm usually I could give some grumpy takes sometimes, let's just say, and it sounds like I'm an old man, like get off my lawn type of thing. And so like Big Man Z was created because of that. And so today I'm a little sick, under the weather. It's fine, whatever. But my biggest Old Man Z moment came today when I was going down the stairs.
Oh boy!
I slipped. I don't know on what, but I have hardwood floors on my stairs, and I was wearing socks. I wear socks all the time. And today I just didn't have my footing, and I'm in my mid-30s, and I guess I just don't have that balance that I used to. And I fell very hard, and it's really hard to walk now. And so I'm just trying to figure out, like, I'm putting like another sock in my sock to create like some extra padding, because it's like on the left-hand side of my left foot, and so it's like where you put the pressure on. So I'm trying to figure it out, because it's just, you can't not.
So can you walk? Like, are you mobile? Are you able to get to the kitchen? Like, if I asked you, Big Z, go get like me
I'm limping hard. It's a good limp. It's a very good limp. Like, I look like an Old Man Z. But I have to figure it out because I have a pregnant wife, very pregnant. And I have a toddler who's 3, and he has a game on Thursday, and I got to figure it out. So I got 2 days to heal up. I'm going to do it. I use that Kobe mentality,
That's right. And for those who don't know, like, if you haven't had like a pregnant partner or spouse or girlfriend, whatever it is, if you haven't experienced that, like, you can't, especially later in like at the start of the pregnancy, typically, like, yeah, you're like, oh, baby, I hurt my ankle. Oh, I'm so sorry. By the end, like when they're waddling, it's like, do not complain about anything.
Yeah, I can't.
Because whatever is happening to you is nowhere near what they are just constantly going, because at that point they're waking up to pee all the time. Like, it's like they can't even do normal, like, if they go on a half an hour car trip, they got to stop like halfway through the trip. Like, I've
had to, like,
it's bad.
Shut my mouth multiple times today and just like hold my tongue. Like, all right, it's all good. Figuring it out. Like, just limp. Figure it out. I was able to carry Oliver up the stairs to take him to bed. Just one arm with Oliver, hang on the railing, the other arm. I'm figuring it out.
Dude, just
I'm gonna channel my inner Kobe. That's what I'm gonna keep telling myself. It's okay. It's all good.
Do what I did like 2 years ago. I twisted, maybe a year and a half ago. I twisted my ankle super badly playing basketball, and I have my own pool route. For those of you guys who don't know, that's what I do. Yeah. I'm a solo guy. I have my own business doing it, and so walking is pretty essential, dude. You just gotta strap that puppy up, dude. Like, buy yourself just a nice compression, like actual, like, like used to wear, like, to play basketball. Like, just buy one of those and just cinch that puppy up so it can't move.
So it's my foot. Do they sell foot braces?
Oh, dude, I don't even know.
Like, it's not my ankle. Like, it's my actual foot.
Wait, it's no part of your ankle? It's just your foot?
It's my foot. So, like, all the weight. So, like, the whole left-hand side of my foot, like the bottom to, like, the top part, like, like the curvature.
I mean, I feel like there's got to be a compression sock. Maybe there's like a compression sock out there that might help you out.
Yeah, I'll figure it out. Something. If not, I'll just like make a little, like, I'll cut off a piece of my pillow behind me, and like I'll tie it around my foot.
Yeah, just tie it. Just get some. I mean, I don't know. The answer for me has always been compression, but I won't lie to you. I don't think I've ever hurt my foot. Like, I don't think I've ever.
I've heard of this. I've heard, like, in the NBA or football, like, you guys like sprained foot. And I'm like, I've never. And I don't know how I did it. I don't, like, I must have just really, that was where
well, you know what it is, dude?
Took the impact was off the stairs was the foot.
It's one of those injuries that you can't get until you cross a certain age.
Yeah.
Right? Like,
exactly.
You probably have never experienced this because now we're 35 and it's like, oh, okay. Now, like, okay, this is a new, it's like when you sleep wrong. People in their 30s know, like in your 20s, you can sleep whatever way you want. And I don't know what day it happens, but all of a sudden you sleep wrong in your 30s and you feel like I worked out. I must have had a complete workout
lower
while I
back,
was sleeping. Like I don't
legs
understand.
hurt. Yeah.
What even happened?
Yeah.
Somebody who's like 40 or 50 listening to this podcast, like, oh, you guys just wait.
You have no clue. You can recover fast. You can recover in a week. But me, it's 3 takes a month. And then the 90-year-old listening to the podcast, because we know there's some 90-year-olds listening to us because they love us. They're just like, it's over at this point. Like, I'm just staying on the couch at that point.
You know, though, I feel like if you make it to 90, like, you got to be so...
That's a goal, dude.
You got to be
I hope I can make it to 90.
I want to make it to 90 if I'm healthy. I want to make it to 90, like, and be mobile. Like, if I'm mobile, cool. Like, I want to be like I'm doing it. You know, I don't want to just be like sitting, you know. That would be that's kind of a bummer. But
for sure. Yeah, no, yeah. 90.
But 90 is a goal. 90 is a goal. I mean, 90 that's impressive, man. That is so impressive.
Yeah, I would love it. My grandma, she is healthy as can be. FaceTimes us. She'll be 97 this year. Yeah, man.
And she can use FaceTime.
She can use FaceTime. It always impresses me. And
that's really impressive.
She talks just like a normal dialogue. Like it's, like she doesn't forget things. It's crazy.
That's impressive.
It's crazy. It is. So it's like I have an example right there.
Boom. There she is.
There she is, man.
I had a pretty good weekend. I mean, I don't know, man. I feel bad that your foot hurts and that you're not feeling well. Because he's battling through it. Battling through
this is just life, dude. This is a dad life. It's all good.
There's no stopping. There's no stopping it, man. We had a fantastic weekend.
Good.
Danielle's parents took the boys, so we're able to go down to Temecula. Nice. Got to spend some time at a new winery. It was amazing.
What's it called?
I think it was.
If you don't mind, I mean, they're not sponsoring us.
No, they're not sponsoring us, but it's okay. We're not. I actually did see a really funny video from this dude who cooks, and I really feel bad that I don't know his name. But he was like showing a spice, and he's like, and if you're wondering why this isn't like the spice name is blurred out, he's like, I don't show anything unless they give me a bag. And I was like, oh my god, that's hilarious. Yeah, no,
we're not there yet.
Yeah. We're not there yet. Robert Renzoni Winery. It is fantastic. Cool. The food is phenomenal. Everything is delicious. We had a blast. It was absolutely incredible. We went there on like Sunday. Spent some time at Old Town Temecula. It was really good. There was a bar actually that was like a upper. I will say this too, just a fair warning to all those who like to go down to Old Town Temecula. There's a bar that is like a rooftop bar called Luke's, right? If you go there, the drinks are good, food not great, right? So like I sat down, I read the menu, and I was like, dude, for whatever reason, it was just like one of those things you sit down and there's like no. It's almost like going to like sort of like obviously what was it, the market grill, the what am I thinking of, the one with all the stuff, the macaroni grill. Grill, like when you sit down, they have like all the huge menu, right? And it's like, well, but they can do all that because they're this huge chain, right? Like I sat down and I read this menu and there's really like no, like it was a small menu, but there's almost like no direction to it. Like I couldn't tell what their thing is. You know what I mean? Like usually I could tell like, oh, this is their thing. Like this is their category. Like this is like their, like it's either seafood. Like go to like a market broiler, for instance, like, oh, this is like a seafood spot. You know, like you can kind of tell what their thing is, so you kind of know what to order. So I sat down this place, and I was like, right away, I was like, ooh, I don't know. I don't know if the food's going to be, and I was right. I should have trusted my gut. Big Z. But it's okay, because we got some good dinner later on. The wineries had amazing food. And like I said, that place is really cool, because you're still on top of like you're still, rooftop bars are always cool. Just, giving everybody the heads up. But it was a blast. It was a really good time. Friday got to go golfing. Took the old man golfing. That was exciting. Definitely excited to get out.
Just like hanging out.
Just to do it. I haven't golfed with him in quite some time. So that was sort of.
What'd you shoot? What'd you shoot?
Oh, dude, we did not. We didn't even keep score. He hadn't golfed in a while. He hadn't been out in a while.
No pressure.
He hadn't been out in a while, and so I was like, hey, let's just go for fun, right? Because usually there's that sort of father, son, a little bit of rivalry there, but
right.
Yeah, we hadn't been out in a while, so I was like, and neither of us is great, like typically we'll shoot 90s, like somewhere in there. But yeah, he's like, whatever, dude. Like, let's just golf. Let's just have fun. So it was a blast. It was a really good weekend. But hey man, you just keep going, Big Z. Like you say, you just keep going. Keep on keeping on, dude.
You got to. You got to
do it, man. Got to do it.
Yeah. You're inspiring me right now, dude. You are. Just to
You
keep
keep on keeping
going.
on. I'll tell you who else inspired
On,
me.
move along. Da, 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 da.
Okay, now I do. Okay, for 1 second, I had no idea what you were singing, and then you got to that part. I was like, okay, I got it. I'm following him now. I'll tell you who did get after it, and who kept it going, and who kept it strong. And to be honest with you, we talked about it last podcast. We got to do it again. The NHL, man. I mean, they completely
So
reset
cool.
the All Star, just whatever you want to call it, the All Star base, the All Star strategy. Like I
Just
don't
the
even know. Like
conversation. Just the
just
conversation of having an all-star game
the
in
fact that
general.
they're a sport that's been around for so long and they literally were willing. This is what we loved about baseball, right? We always give baseball their flowers. Recently, Rob Manfred having everybody play everybody. Like all of a sudden, we talked about it before, like a team like Tampa Bay, who just for whatever reason doesn't sell at their park, or like, Toronto, for whatever reason doesn't historically sell at their park during regular season games. All of a sudden, when the Dodgers or the Yankees or the Red Sox or the Cardinals or whatever that market team is comes to town, all of a sudden they have that sellout, right? They have that. Like you go to the Diamondbacks. I've been to multiple Diamondbacks regular season games, and it is like half and half. Like half Diamondbacks fans, half Dodger fans. Like the Dodgers have always traveled well. Whether or not you like the Dodgers, whatever you think about the Dodgers, they travel well, and that is good for your baseball team, right? So the fact that baseball a couple years back now said, hey, every team is going to play every team. No longer are we just going to do this thing where you're going to play mostly NL or mostly, whatever. We are actually going to have you play every team. And hockey did that. They literally were like, nope, we're throwing out our All-Star game. Our All-Star game is not working. Nobody's watching it. We need to build the popularity of our game because right now it is NFL, MLB, the NBA, and then hockey, right? And there's an argument to be made. I haven't checked soccer ratings in a long time, so I have no idea where they are on the scale. But they knew, right? NHL knew, hey, we are the fourth on this list. Let's try to get something going, right? Especially considering recent years, the NBA, we've talked about it, Big Z, the NBA happens at the same time as hockey. And so a lot of times the NBA All-Star break would sort of steal the show, Kobe and all this stuff and Michael Jordan and all this. And, the NHL really just could not compete with the stars of the NBA. But now, as we've seen, a little bit of a chink in the armor in the NBA, right? Ratings are down. That's no secret anymore. It is what it is. The NHL shot their shot, and they had a tournament with 4 teams. And the way this thing worked out, I know I'm going on a long monologue. Bear with me, people. But the way that this thing worked out, the USA should not even have been there. Just so everybody knows, the USA is actually ranked 6th in the world in terms of talent right now, which I think after this tournament, I don't see how whatever that organization is doesn't go back to the drawing board and give us our respect. Because it is clear we are a top 3 team in the world, in my opinion. USA, baby. But this was what happened was I was talking to my good buddy Matt about this today. And he was explaining to me that because this was an NHL funded event, like this wasn't the Olympics, right? Like the Olympics, if the Czechs show up with predominantly Czech playing players, that's cool. Or Russia bringing all of the Russian players, that's cool. Or Canadians bringing like Canadian League, whatever league's up there, like they can do that, right? But because it was the NHL, you had to show up with an NHL squad. So because of that, right, some of the teams that were ranked right next to the USA has something like 600 and some odd NHL players. So we can field a team of 20 to 25, right? Canada has the most, like over 1,000, so they could field it. Sweden and Finland, same thing. They were able to fill entire rosters of NHL players. And so that's more or less how it's decided. Obviously, Russia on its sanctions with all that stuff that we're not getting into, but they're not allowed in international competition, from what I understand, with the whole Ukraine thing. So these 4 teams were decided not only based on rankings, but also based on their ability to field an NHL team, which to me made it even more incredible because these were all dudes that don't usually skate together, that don't usually play. I mean, we had, look, I was going for the USA, but we had a lineup of literally McKinnon, Sidney Crosby, McDavid, and there's one other guy. It was like he was Stone. It was insane.
Yeah.
Like the ability of the Canadians just to put star-studded lineups out there. Like you had to respect it on some level. It was awesome to watch, Big Z. Did you enjoy it?
Oh, yeah, I mean, I loved it. We tuned in as a family. We watched, the championship game, USA versus Canada. Obviously, I tuned in to a couple of the games, beforehand, but I don't know, like, last week we talked about it too. It went beyond the sport of hockey. It went like pride for
100%.
your country,
Yep.
and that was really cool to watch. And you could just feel the intensity the whole time. The fans were into it. The players were into it. They really
Yeah.
wanted to win, right? Like there
Yeah.
was just, and even though they weren't playing for anything, it was an exhibition game.
Yeah.
They truly weren't playing for the Stanley Cup. They weren't playing for a gold medal. It was literally just playing for pride, playing for your country, playing for your fans, and representing and just saying, we're better than you on this particular night. And that was cool. Like that's what we want as fans. We just want two teams to go head to head and give it their all. And I think that's where the NBA is really lacking. The NFL is really lacking when it comes to their
Yes.
all-star stuff.
Yeah.
Subban, he's a hockey commentator, NHL commentator on ESPN. He went on a great rant about the
Yeah.
passion
Yeah.
that NHL that these players have, that they're playing for something, and he highlighted the contrast in what the NBA is doing, and it's just like all about me, 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 and I don't really care. I don't want to play for 5 minutes really
Right.
hard because I may turn an ankle. The hockey players don't care. They'll turn an ankle, they'll break, get 5 teeth knocked out of them, and they're gonna suit up and try to get back in within the next 10 minutes, right? Like that's just the mentality of a hockey player, just tough. And that's what we miss. I feel like as fans, sports fans in this country, we're missing some of that right now with what's going on in sports and how things have been kind of shifted. And I loved it. I think it set a great example, and a great precedent. And I hope that other sports, really look to this as an example and kind of change their tune when it comes to their all-star games.
And you have to remember, it wasn't always like that for the NBA. I remember
No, it
watching
wasn't. It
Kobe
wasn't.
chase down LeBron and
Yes.
wanting to compete and convincing these guys, hey, we're the best in the world. Let's showcase ourselves as the best in the world, battling for supremacy. Our best versus your best, West versus East, fight or die. Let's do it. Let's play hard. Like we remember those things, right? And so
Yep.
when you see the NHL players going out there and absolutely like just dying, I saw that same monologue. It was amazing. It was an incredible monologue. Literally, guys talking about like you cannot. The difference between the NHL and other sports right now, or not other sports, but specifically the NBA. He was saying was that you can't mail it in the NHL. If you don't have your head on a swivel, you're going to get knocked out. You're going to get hurt. So you have to go out there. You have to battle. They're playing through injury. I mean, you have the Tkachuk brothers sitting there battling through multiple injuries. Matthew, I haven't checked to see if he's actually started again yet, but I mean, he's sitting on the end of the bench. He can't even go. He can't even play, and he's refusing to go to the locker room. He's refusing to just sit out because this game was that important to him. It was everything you wanted, and then it went to overtime.
Right.
I mean, I was sad America lost. I was sad the U.S. lost, but not just like it was also like, man, what incredible hockey to watch. USA takes Canada overtime.
It was epic.
It was amazing. It was amazing.
It was epic. Yeah. And the cool thing about that is, Tkachuk plays on the Florida Panthers, and his teammates don't care that he got hurt during that tournament. They're cool with it. Like, the regular season started. He's not there right now. Well, he's there, but he's not playing. And they're perfectly fine with it because they understand the reason why he played. And that's cool. I like that. I respect that.
Well, and the owners in hockey need to realize too, hey, right now, this sort of tournament, you may not love that your star players, that your best players are going to go to a tournament and risk injury, but what you also have to realize is if you grow the game of hockey, that's good for all of you. So if you can have this tournament, and they're going to what they're going to end up doing is they're going to sort of coincide this thing. Like it's going to be this, and then I think it's the Olympics. The Olympics are every 4 years. It's like it's going to be offset somehow. And so we're going to continue to see this sort of thing.
Kind of like the World Baseball Classic, kind of.
Right. And then that was the other thing. That was the other thing that they were saying is that eventually, like I said, this was just a rough go. This was just them seeing if this works. So now they're going to give these countries time to say, hey, let's do it. Like a World Baseball Classic, 2 weeks of just incredible hockey, get everybody locked in for the home stretch, everything they want. And you saw in the ratings, 16.1 million people across North America tuned in to watch this. Crazy. Something like almost 10 million Americans. I mean, awesome. that is on par with a lesser rated World Series, right? That's the Rangers and Diamondbacks World Series. So, like, you are seeing ratings that the NHL just historically does not pull. These are ratings that are just well above what they usually pull in. So, shout out to you, hockey. Great job. We loved it. If you didn't watch this thing, you missed out. That's the only way. Every once in a while, there's a sporting event where if you didn't watch it because you didn't know it, you missed out. So I'm just letting you guys know you missed out. I watched, like you said, me and my boys are sitting on the couch, just like, oh my God, what's going to happen? We're like just sitting there screaming, like U.S. go up. We're like, yes. And then Canada scored. We're like, no. But like I said, it's so hard. It's so hard. Like when you read the names, right? When you look at this Canada team, like this is what made me so proud of the U.S. hockey team, right? Like, and I know there's a lot of people, oh, here come the excuses. And no, listen. Just listen to these stinking names. Sidney Crosby, right? Connor McDavid, Mark Stone. I mean, the list goes on. McKinnon, Jarvis, Corelli, Bennett. I mean, the list just goes on. We're talking about literally Canada's the one team in the world that could probably put out 3 different 5-guy lineups that arguably are the best 5 in the world.
That's right.
Like, it is absolutely insane. So for
just
the U.S.,
you're just being a proud American, man.
Right. For the U.S. to not give up just constant, like, if you told me that Connor McDavid, McKinnon, and Sidney Crosby are going to be on the line, I'd say, well, how many goals did they score? At least 5. At least 5.
Exactly.
And the U.S. held them down. So good job, boys. Shout out to Canada. Great win for you guys. And if you're Canadian, this is good for hockey. So you should also be enthused with how this thing went, not only with the win, but with the popularity for the sport. I'm here for it. I love it. Oh, it was just amazing. It was just absolutely amazing. Something less amazing if you're an Eagles fan, Big Z, and I want to know what you think about this. Apparently, they're debating the tush push again, or the brotherly shove.
Yeah.
And the legality of it. And it almost just feels like, to me at this point, right, like, it's like in everyday life, like if you're a good hard worker, somebody will give you a job, right? You get to a job, somebody will give you a job, and then you figure out, if you're a good worker, the best way to do that job. You're not just going to do, if somebody tells you do A through E, if you're a good, smart employee, you're not just going to do A through E. You're going to figure out, how can I do A through E the best and easiest way for myself? And if that's not what you're doing, you probably aren't the best employee. So to me, this is exactly what we're seeing, is the rest of the NFL is watching the Eagles, who figured out this great play, and they're like, no, we're not going to play football like everyone else. We have figured out a way to guaranteed convert on 4th and 1. No one can stop us, so we're going to do it. We're going to do it. And the rest of the lazy employees are like, no, that's crap. You shouldn't be able to do that. How come they can take 65 calls because they don't hang up, right? We all saw that in the Pursuit of Happiness, right? The difference, I don't hang up, right? That saves me 3 seconds. Something as simple as that. And so now all the other employees are looking like, no way, you can't do this. It's like, why not? Right? The only reason you don't like it, if everyone
you can't stop it.
And if everybody could do this, they would.
Right.
But they can't.
It is odd to me. Yeah, it came out today that the Packers were like the unnamed team that, put the request in to ban it. But I think it's probably like, okay, this year, Packers, it's your turn. Next year, it'll be the Patriots' turn until like we finally get this thing banned. Like, they made it out to be like, oh, it was just the Packers. Like all the other teams were like, no, it was just them, blah, blah, blah. I think you're right. It's the other 31 teams that don't want this.
Oh, yeah.
Yeah, I don't. It is annoying, like, if you're a fan of a team that you're playing against the Eagles, but like also it's a football play. Like this is part of the game. Like they came up with a better play. You can't stop it, and they're going to keep doing it until someone does stop it. And that's sports, right? Like you're trying to outdo your opponent, outthink them, outmaneuver them, and all that stuff. And they did it. And so I don't think that anyone should be complaining trying to ban this. I think that these teams should be trying to figure ways out to stop this. And yeah, I think it looks kind of weak, kind of soft. And I don't think it's going to be banned because it's a football play. It's 100% a football play.
Like, again, it's not like they did anything wrong. That's the other problem, right? Like if I'm coaching my kiddos, right, and I figure out that like laying down a bunt to the left side, you can't stop it, I'm going to keep doing it. Why would I not? I'm going to get people, oh, you're not teaching them the proper way to play baseball. Sure I am. I'm teaching them to exploit the weaknesses of the other team.
Right.
Half of baseball is mental. Like, why is this a problem, right? Like this makes sense to me. So I 100%, I'm not a fan. And let's be honest, one of the reasons it works, whether you like it or not, is that Jalen Hurts is a freak.
Because he can like squat 650 pounds or something.
I think it's like 700.
Really?
He can squat like 700 pounds.
Sorry to short you there.
Yeah, like, oh, Patrick Mahomes can't do this play. No, he can't because he can't squat.
Can't. Josh Allen can't.
No.
Matthew Stafford can't. Brock Purdy. No one can. Like this
No.
is an Eagles play. Like they have the personnel to do it, and they figured that out. They're like, you know what? In practice one time, they were like, let's try this. Let's see if this will work.
Yeah.
And it's beautiful, dude. It's like a masterpiece. And so you got to figure it out. You got the team should be banding together to figure out how to stop this when it's used against them. That's it. It's that simple.
I don't know if you saw the interview, but it was freaking hilarious with like Jalen Hurts and Saquon Barkley. They're on like a Tonight Show. I forgot whose Tonight Show it was. And they're like, yeah, how do you guys feel about the tush push? And Jalen's like, the what? He's like, the tush push. Jalen's like, it's not called that. It's called the brotherly shove, or you call it whatever. That's not what we call it. Da 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 da. And then Saquon just totally lets him down. The night host looks at him and he's like, well, what's your role in this? He's like, I guess I would be the pusher of the tusher. Everybody starts laughing. Jalen looks at him like, bro, come on, man. Like, what are you doing? What are you doing? You're supposed to be on my side.
That's hilarious.
What are you doing?
Hilarious. I mean, he did take away like 12 touchdowns from him, but
well, dude,
it's either here or there.
Their ability to get it down to the 1 yard line needs to be that alone needs to be studied as a science.
Seriously.
Like the Eagles' ability to get the ball to the 1 yard line and no further it has to be science. Like I don't even understand it. Speaking of Matt Stafford, the guy that you just mentioned, this hurts me. I'm a Rams fan. I'm not going to hide that. I don't understand. I do in the sense that like I get it. He's a $50 million cap hit, and maybe that's why maybe he just wasn't willing to negotiate. So if that comes out that, hey, he was not willing to negotiate, we have these young guys that we need to start paying, like Nakua, like Verse. Like there's a good, strong, young core here on the defensive side of the ball. We're getting some younger talent. Maybe, we don't need to win next year. Maybe we're targeting 2 or 3 years. Okay, I get it. But I did not think the Rams were that far off, right? Like we were a play away.
Yeah. Yeah. No,
Eagles.
I look at it kind of another perspective. On Matthew Stafford's side, I don't know why he's commanding $50 million per year. He's 37. He's injury prone. Like he's a good quarterback when he's healthy, but he's made, $400 million in his career. I would take a pay cut, like do the Tom Brady route, take a pay cut, let the Rams build around you because it's the best situation that you're going to be in for the rest of your career. Like if you go to the Giants, it's terrible there. There's a terrible team, terrible weather. If you go to the Steelers, same thing, right? So why would you want to leave Sean McVay in a great situation and go somewhere where you're just going to get beat up all the time just for the money? Maybe. I've never made that much money, so I don't know. But I don't know, man. Like I would think twice if I'm Matthew Stafford. Again, these are just reports on Twitter. Who knows? Because there's conflicting reports on so many other things. One day it's this, one day it's that. So maybe they'll figure something out. But I think it's in both sides' best interest to figure it out to bring him back for a discounted rate, like $35, $40 million.
But you have to be able to do that. Baseball, it's deferred money. Like baseball, it's like Shohei Ohtani saying, like, dude, I'm going to take on this much money, and then you can build around me, right? That's what the Dodgers did, and everybody's super pissed off about it. It's like, well, our stars are willing to defer their payments. Like if you're the Rams, I feel like Matt Stafford should look and like just think about the longevity, the fact that you're in LA, you're going to get a ton of endorsements. You win another Super Bowl, you're the king of LA.
Yeah.
If you win another Super Bowl, all of a sudden you are a historic Rams quarter. I mean, he already is. But now you're the Rams quarterback in history. You won 2 Super Bowls for the Rams? Like nobody's ever done that. This is insane, right? Like just build off of that. But I don't know. It all started with the Cooper Kupp news, which was also slightly surprising to me just because, like, are you going to find a better number 2 receiver? Like you have to be able to think like, I can't think of many better number 2 receivers in the league, right? You're talking about maybe the number 2 from the Bengals, right? Maybe his name escaped. I can't believe Jamar Chase and
T. Higgins.
Thank you. T. Higgins. Maybe you want a burner like Tyreek Hill, but he hasn't looked really good last year. I just don't understand it.
This is what happens in a cap league. Like the Niners have to get rid of Debo this offseason because he's a huge cap hit, but he's not available mentally, physically, or in the game. Like he's just not there anymore. Same thing. But the fact that the Rams found Cooper Kupp so late and Puka Nacua so late in the past, like that should give you hope that you guys can draft well. You guys got Verse. You got Kobe Turner. Like,
yeah,
you have a great development and a scouting team and you guys will find another Cooper Cup. You'll find another
It's
Puka Nakua, right? It's just
at
this is
this
just what
at this
happens
point.
in a cap league.
At this point, regardless of what you think, you can't doubt Les Snead, right?
No.
Like that's the other piece of this pie. Like if you're a Rams fan, you can't doubt the guy who literally a few years ago they're like, okay, you got Matt Stafford, but if you don't win a Super Bowl, you just mortgage your entire future. And then they won the Super Bowl, and everybody's like, well, that's all you're going to do. You're not going to make the playoffs for the next 10 years. And here the Rams are every single year making the playoffs, not necessarily winning the division, but getting into that wild card spot.
They're
doing what they got
well.
to do.
They're doing what they got to do.
They're going to be all right regardless. I really like Matt Stafford. You know,
I know,
really
man.
like him. He's really cool.
He's such a good quarterback.
And dude, so help me God, do not go get Aaron Rodgers.
I think that's just silly talk again on
I think that's Aaron Rodgers' team. I think Aaron Rodgers' team is out there on like the Twitterverse, is like building hype. Ooh, so and so is interested. Ooh,
I mean, I'm sure he'd love to play in SoCal. You know,
no.
Well, yeah, but I'm supporting what you're saying. Like his team is putting that out there because that's what he wants, right?
Yeah.
But yeah, you don't want that. I don't think you want that.
That would be equivalent. That would be equivalent to the Rams. If the Rams go get Aaron Rodgers, that would be equivalent to them walking down overconfidently down a set of stairs in nothing but socks. You know what I mean? Like it's gonna start.
Okay.
It's gonna start
my clothes and socks.
And it's gonna end with not a twisted ankle, nay, a twisted foot, which is
twisted foot. How is that possible? I don't know.
No one.
I don't know.
No one knows.
But
all
it's
of it sitting at the bottom of the stairs, just weeping.
Dude, it was so sad. He was just like, "Are you okay?" And I was like, "Yeah, I'm good. I'm good. I'm on."
Well, he didn't even know you could get hurt, right? Like, so this was like a bubble burster.
He's like, he's like me.
Yeah,
he's like me when I get hurt. When I go to him, but I was good. I was good because it didn't really hurt until like 5 o'clock. Like it happened at 10, so it was like a good 7 hours of just like straight adrenaline, and then all of a sudden, just like. I can't walk that well.
Should we do like an ace bandage, maybe like one of those like old school brown bandages? You know, just wrap that puppy up.
Yeah, that sounds good. Watch a YouTube video how to wrap that thing up. That's good.
Yeah, there you go. I know they got like tape now too. They got like tape you could put on the bottom of the foot.
They do.
Like you put like X's and stuff.
Yeah. So you know what?
Look
Dr.
on the
Fredo.
Look on the Google, man.
The Google, dude.
The
Google, the Twitter, the YouTube,
whatever it is, man. Get on something.
The X, the TikTok. So many things.
Get on something. Let's wrap it up with this, Big Z. The Combine is getting less and less popular. I don't get it.
I'm excited for it.
I'm
being
excited
in a dynasty football league. I love it. I think it's great.
I like the Combine. I also like when players sit out of the like their bowl games. I'm like, oh well, yeah, okay. Like you get injured. Like I can't say that I understand. I still don't like that. By the way, I hate that. I don't like it. I get it in terms of like a money decision, but I think finish out with your team, show that you're a leader. Like, I can't believe how much hype that the dude from Miami is still getting. I'm going to be honest with you. Like, the fact that so many teams are still interested in this dude after he like.
It's the NHL, NBA, NFL conundrum again. It's me, right?
So. I mean, this guy literally played a half of a football. I should look up his name and give him that respect.
Cam Ward.
He played a half of football to get a record, and I was like, okay, I got my record. Thanks, everybody. And that's the best part. Like after, like, I don't do this without my O-line. Do you actually believe that because you abandoned them halfway through the game? Like all those speeches that you gave about like my O-line and my defense, and like gone. Like nope, nobody believes you, right? Nobody that was crap. That's what it was. This was a falsehood. This was a narrative. You were saying the things that you were supposed to say, but you don't believe it because when push came to shove, you abandoned your team in the second half, right? Like. That stuff pisses me off. Like you're like so many college players. Like, I care about the jersey. I care about my teammates. I care about my brothers. And then they go to this bowl game that like their entire team. Like just imagine like your whole team like worked so hard to do, and they finally got to this game that is like the thing. That is the epitome of your season. That is the crux of your season. That is the mountaintop. That is the Everest of your season. It's way up here. And then like your star player's like, oh boys, I got to make a business decision. It's like, wait a minute. And I'm just being honest. Like I would love to hear the counter argument to this because I think the counter argument in essence is selfish, right? Well, he could get injured, right? But this whole time he's been spouting, it's about the team, it's about my brothers, it's about the team. Is it about you or is it about your team? Because if it's about you, just be honest. At the end of every press conference, like, I am dope. I'm the man, right? Yeah, I balled. I balled tonight. I killed it. But don't sit here and talk to me about, like, oh, the O-line and the defense, and then push comes to shove. It's finally that moment, and now here you are abandoning the brothers that you've pretended to be in the trenches with. It's not at all what I want to talk about, but there's that. So at me at that. Make it go viral. Talk it, hate it, whatever you want to do. I'm that guy. I'm on the Old Man Z train right now, baby.
Right, baby.
I'm not wrapping my foot up, but like I'm being careful downstairs. You know what I mean?
This is I think it's a great thing to scout. I think his attitude and leadership. Look at Caleb Williams. He did the same thing. We haven't even talked about what we're going to talk about. But Caleb Williams last year sat out the combine, right? And look what happened. The Bears were still so convinced that he was the guy, and he wasn't. Now go ahead and tell them what's happening.
Right. So the latest is Sanders is sitting out the combine. Genty is sitting out the combine.
Jeez.
There's other guys.
That says a lot. It's alarming.
There's a defensive end. Abdul Carter is sitting out the combine.
Like, I'd rather, as a scout, I would rather want to see these guys compete at the combine in a neutral setting where they don't know everyone, with quarterbacks they don't know throwing to them, receivers that they don't know that they're throwing to, because I want to see how they do under pressure in the unknown. These guys are skipping the combine to go compete at their pro days with the whole environment. It's a controlled environment. They get to handpick their receivers. They get to handpick where they get to do it. Everything is to their liking. That is not reality. And I don't understand why these scouts don't see that and why they don't see the red flags and they don't move off these guys for doing that. It's beyond me. It's beyond me.
It doesn't make sense.
Nope.
It doesn't make sense for a plethora of reasons, and I'll just give you one. Ashton Genty will do the same thing that Caleb Williams did. He's going to come out, he's going to say, hey, you saw what you saw, right? Because that's got to be the attitude, right? Like, you saw what I did in college football, right? Like, I don't know, I shouldn't say that, because Caleb Williams really upset me because he not only did he not play, but then that was his reason. Like, you saw what I did, and it's like, what exactly? We saw you cry on the sideline a lot and get mad at your team when you guys were less sub 500. Like, which part did you want us to? So, Ashton Genty, if I'm Ashton Genty and I'm his agent, look, that's great. He's going to do a pro day. Here's the reality of the situation. If I'm Ashton Genty, I want to go to this and I want to remind everybody that I'm the best running back, because ESPN, CBS, ABC, everybody else besides Brevity Sports can sit here and be like, Ashton Genty's the best running back to come out of college football. He's the best thing since Saquon Barkley. He's this, he's that, he's this, he's that, he's that, he's this, he's this, he's that. The last time we saw Ashton Genty, he carried 104 yards on 30 carries.
Right.
I'm not going to say it's bad. 100 yards isn't okay. All right. But against a college defense with half filled with kids who are never going to touch or see or sniff the NFL field, you barely broke 100 yards. And now, for whatever reason, you're sitting here telling us, like, nope, I'm above that. I don't need to do it. Like, I get it. And the problem is, this is the other problem, Big Z, is a lot of people don't see the issue for what it is. Right? Like, ESPN doesn't see the issue with, like, the star-driven mentality that is ruining much of sports, which the NHL is no part of. And thank God, like, in the MLB, Shohei's sitting here saying, like, I'm the best, and I'm taking team-friendly deals because I want to win. Like, that is the heart of a champion. That's the mindset of a champion. That's what's saving the MLB. Hopefully it stays for a long, long time. Right here, we're seeing a kid who just rushed for 104 yards. Is he amazing? Yes. Was I sitting here on this podcast talking about him all year? Yes. But the last time the world saw you on the world stage was you carried the ball 104 yards. And if I'm an NFL scout, boy, I've got to be concerned, because we talked about it earlier. His greatest asset is his yards after contact. Guess what? When your greatest asset is yards after contact and you're not also just an elusive freak, it's not going to translate as well. And that's what you can show at the combine. Just come out and remind everybody, I'm crisper, I'm cleaner, I'm faster, I'm better. Just remind everybody, doing the same exact drills. It's not your pro day, it's your own field. It's your own comfort. It's your own. Show everybody I can do this outside of my comfort level. I can do this on any stage, any stadium, anywhere, anytime. You name it, I'll do it. That's what I'm about. And you just remind everybody, you shut up the hater, just like Shedeur Sanders. He's already getting hate for being Sanders' kid. Like, this is sort of your moment to come out and be like, dude, I will show you. You guys didn't like how I did at Colorado. I've been blaming my NFL line. I'll use the excuse that I don't have a good running game. I'll use this excuse. I'll use that excuse. We're going to line up. I'm going to do the same drills in the same environment. I'm going to show you why I'm Shedeur Sanders. I'm going to show you. I'm going to show you what I'm about. This is completely a missed opportunity on these players for me. And you're right. Here's what I'll say, Big Z. No one's going to agree with us. No NFL scout is going to take notice of this, but they should. But they should.
Yeah.
They should.
Yeah. 100% should, but they won't because we're so little. But it's all fun. It's all fun and games. We'll just keep talking about it. But this time next year, we may get to say, I told you so again. For what?
And
the third year in a row?
I will say this. I do think Shedeur Sanders, when I watched him at Colorado, under absolute duress all year long, because for whatever reason, Dion could convince everybody to come to Colorado besides anyone who has anything to do with an offensive line. For whatever reason, I don't know what the disconnect is. I couldn't tell you. Honest to God, I couldn't tell you. But when I watched Shedeur under duress, I thought every once in a while he'd have a throw that was pretty impressive.
Yeah.
If I'm Sanders, the reason this bothers me is I do think he has the capability of being an exceptional NFL quarterback. I just think he's got to not buy his own hype. He's got to stay level-headed. He's got to continue to work. He's got to continue to do what he has to do. And if that's his mindset, he can have success. Having said that, this is not off to a great start for me. And we saw it last year, like you said, with Caleb Williams. You saw it last year with Caleb Williams. I'll give you an example, Big Z. We have the draft and majors of Little League. There's a lot of dads out there. Shout outs to you dads, by the way, and moms, and whoever the heck you are, man. If you have a kid and you're helping out Little League, shout outs to you, or soccer, whatever that league is, and you're like waking up at 5 to drive your kids to travel ball, whatever it is. Like in my life right now, Little League just started. We're in the full swing of it. Like, shout outs to you. Keep going. Enjoy it because it goes quick. We talked about that. It goes quick. You blink, it's like they're in T-ball, then all of a sudden you're like, this kid's throwing faster than I've ever thrown in my life. What's happening? Anyway, neither here nor there. Every year we have a draft. And it was so funny because my coach was watching certain kids. Right? He's watching certain kids try out, and they looked really, really good in the tryout. And because I've been around them, I was able to say, like, hey, they look practices and tryouts, they look amazing. And the game comes, and for whatever reason, it hasn't clicked. And who knows? This might be the year that it clicks for them. This might be the year where it just, for whatever reason, it just like locks in and the whole thing is there, but it hasn't yet. And the coaches around like, oh, okay, cool. You know, that makes a lot of sense. So, for me, I feel like, why would you not take every opportunity to show that I am more than what you've seen? I'm better than what you think I am. You put me in an environment, like you're saying, with no bias. I'm going to show the whole world, man. I'm going to show the whole world exactly who I am. You have the tape on me in games. That's why I'm here. It's just a missed opportunity. It's just a missed opportunity. And the NFL, obviously the NFL is king. The NFL is king. Here's what I'll say. The NBA at one point looked untouchable. When Kobe and these guys were head of the league, it was the NFL and it was the NBA, and there was no question. It was the NFL, it was the NBA, and then there was a chasm. And then it was like baseball, hockey, soccer, whatever you want to do. But there was a chasm. There was a chasm there recently. And it wasn't always that way with the MLB. The MLB is on its way back up, right? Last year, averaging 18 million at minimum, right, for the World Series, getting a ton of viewership every game. Absolutely incredible. But, when you look at that idea of what happened to the NBA, if the NFL just take note of this, okay? Because the NBA did this, and they gave their players the keys to the building, the keys to the car, and it has not worked out. So if you're the NFL, just keep you are the most powerful of the organizations, obviously.
They won't.
But they won't. But, you should. But you should. Yeah. Yeah, King just scored, baby. I'm that guy. I have the Kings on the background. Kings are playing the Golden Knights. The Golden Knights are I think they're first in the West. Are they first in the West right now?
Or so one of them.
Yeah.
One of those.
The Kings we're a bottom feeder playoff team, which is where we like to be, baby.
Always.
I don't want to go too high of a seed. If you're the Kings fans, you want us to be like 6 through 8. 6 through 8.
That's right.
That's where we want to slot in. right where we want to slot in, but King just drew it even. I think more. It's his second goal tonight, man. Kid's on fire.
Really?
On fire.
Nice, dude. Nice. Getting ready for the playoffs.
Getting ready for the playoffs, which, by the way, how weird was that to watch Drew Doughty hug Connor McDavid?
Yeah, it was weird. It sucked.
I didn't like that.
Yeah. It's not natural. Not natural.
Like, it was like, stop hugging him.
I know.
It was like watching.
Come on, dude.
That was like watching your best friend who you have like embraced. Like you've bought him birthday presents. Like you supported him in live events, and just like embracing your mortal enemy. You're just like, wait a minute, you are my person. What is this?
Exactly.
Like, what are you
What's
doing?
going on here? What's going on?
Dude, it was disgusting. All right, I know that they have Canada jerseys on. It was gross.
Yeah, whatever.
It was gross, Big Z.
Gross.
This has been fun. Say bye to the people so we can get Big Z iced up in bed, just relaxing, hopefully. Talk to us, man.
Hope you guys have a great week and stay chill, relax a little bit because it's the best thing to do in life when you can. But we love you guys. Thank you so much for your support.
We love you. Go follow us, Brevity Sports, everywhere. TikTok, Twitter, Instagram. I think we even have a Facebook. We don't really use that. Don't follow us on Facebook. The other ones, though, use those ones.
Yeah,
all the other ones. We love you. Thank you so much for listening. Have a great week, night, weekend, whatever you are doing. Thanks for listening.